I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Stephen Hurley. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Well, it's a wonderful night up here in just outside Toronto, and we're coming into winter, so the air is a bit chillier than normal, but I love this time of the year.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that you love it, my friend. If it gets too cold, just let me know and I will send that email to you. That email of Caribbean Sunshine that is in my draft folder.
That will make me jealous, I know, yes. Okay, I'll do that.
Stephen, please tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Well, I think it would be my talent of connecting people through conversation and story, and that's what my life is now. I spent 30 years as a teacher in a school district, but right now I am connecting people through voice ed radio and all sorts of stories. And so I guess it's that appreciation for story and that love of listening to stories that connects us.
Who did you learn that from?
You know what? I reluctantly say my father, because I didn't realize until he passed a few years ago that that's what really connected and cemented the relationship that we had. And it wasn't a close relationship, but whenever he could tell a story, whenever he sat around a kitchen table with a lot of people around him, that's what he did. And as I say, I didn't appreciate it until later in life, and it was too late to actually get the stories from him, unfortunately.
What's the process for doing what you're doing by curating these conversations?
You mean the technical process, or?
Oh no, just like for those that are listening, like to understand exactly how you do what you do. Yeah. Well,
much like you, I reach out to people mainly that I connect with on social media. You know, we say we have thousands of friends and followers, and so over the past couple of years, I've really taken on the task of connecting with them. If there's an area where I think will resonate, we get on, we have a conversation. And lately, since I started this internet-based radio station, which is dedicated to education, I've found people want to talk more. And so I have people come on for series of conversations over a number of weeks. And so it's live stream. It's 24/7 education radio. And that's the process for me. So much like you, just reaching out and recording conversations and see where it goes.
Where can people access these conversations?
Well, at voiceed.ca, there's a listen live button. So if there'll be something in the stream when you press that, but also on demand. There's an on demand section there, and we curate them there.
Yeah, the website is so simple, right? It's like you just go and you hit the play button right to the center there. It's just really simple. Again, that's voiced, VOICED. He has the ED because of his educational background, I'm guessing, right?
It's wonderful to have ED and be in education, because you could add ED to anything and you've got it.
It's a voice.ca. Well, that's amazing. So why will you continue to repeat this skill of great conversation, Stephen?
Because I think this is what is going to change the world. I think if everybody in the world were to reach out to one other person tomorrow and not tell them what they think, but ask them about their story, I think the world would be a different place. I'm not saying that it's going to bring world peace, but it will change the energy level in a room and on a planet, I believe. I really believe that.
Yeah, well, I do believe with you, and I'm glad that we're connecting together to see it together, that we believe in the power of a conversation. Stephen, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
One other thing I've done consistently. Well, this is pretty well it. The conference. It's such a big thing. I think one other thing that I've done consistently over the past 3 years is I've re-engaged with my musical background, and I've I've tried to play. I took piano lessons when I was younger, and I've played a lot. I've played a lot in public, but I've gone back to doing it seriously. So at least over the past 2 years, I've been preparing for some formal examinations and taken a couple, and yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel, it brings back the terror of when I was a kid and had to do conservatory examinations. But you know what? It got me in touch with a part of me that loves to perform and loves to just get lost in music.
That's beautiful. Why would you suggest to someone that's listening, someone that may be in a similar situation where, you know, they had their career, right? They stepped away, which was the thing that probably took the most of their time. They stepped away from that. Their time is open now. Why would you suggest they reconnect that part of their past?
Well, I think listening carefully to the parts of their life that really excited and engaged them, and going back to those conditions that allowed that to happen, I think that is really important. And having the courage to do that. You know, I turned 59 this year, and it was 40 years since my last piano exam. Oh. And I walked into the adjudicator and I said, "It's been 40 years since I've been here," and I did it, and I didn't do it really well because I still got nervous. The 12-year-old brain kicked in midway through Bach's fugue, and it took its toll. But I say, yeah, have the courage and just get in touch with what you really love.
Amazing audience. Again, we are live with Stephen Hurley, and you could definitely check out his work at voiced.ca. Again, voiced.ca. But Stephen, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Stephen, what is your earliest childhood memory?
That's an easy one. My earliest childhood memory is my first day of kindergarten. I was 5 years old. I walked in with my mother to this classroom that I knew nothing about. And I remember everyone was sitting in a circle, and my best friend Paul was reading a book, and I wanted to read that book. He was reading the book that I wanted to read, and I got upset that he was reading it. Well, he wasn't reading it. And you know why I know he wasn't reading it? Because the book was upside down. And I said to my mom, "But the book is upside down." That, for some reason, that is my earliest childhood memory. I know it's late, 5 years old. I do remember sitting on a kitchen counter when I was 3, drinking a glass of whiskey because I had a cold or something. But that wasn't clear.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you always reach for the whiskey and drink it. I mean,
well, yeah. That is. Yeah. Let's leave that one for now.
Let's leave that. I can help myself. All right. So if you had to connect the dots to that memory to who you are now, can you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a love of reading, a love of books. I start to shake whenever I walk by a bookstore or a library. And even in personality dimension tests that I've had, I love research. And so that makes sense. I love to find things out, and books are what I associate with learning. So that's a clear line.
Yeah. Love it. Well, can I add or offer to the interpretation of the thought picture that came up in my mind?
Yeah.
Let me see it. Yeah, I can. Okay, wonderful. I love the idea of the value of a conversation, between, even you and your mother, and I'm sure the conversations you would have gone ahead to have in kindergarten. But I think what I've found is one of the most important conversation is the conversation one has with himself or herself. And I think it's intriguing that your connectivity to reading allows the strengthening of that. You're reading and you're hearing your inner voice, right? But again, I'm really intrigued by the fact that you understand conversation with yourself and how that has grown now into the magnitude of conversations with others.
I would not have made that connection. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
It was 1970, and it was a very important song by Vanity Fair. called Hitchin' a Ride. And it was important because it was the very first song that I ever requested on a radio station.
Wow.
And when I was in grade 4, a few years earlier, I had my radio career mapped out.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted to do. And so that was the first time I ever had the courage to call a radio station and ask for a song. And ever since then, radio has really been part of my imagination and part of my life.
Wow, it's amazing how it connects, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's incredible. It's not until you ask the question, right? The questions are important.
Yeah, like I had a couple episodes before you, I had Greg Zakowitz, and he said he had like the career, like he was doing the radio and then he stepped away for like 20 years, I think he said. And now he's doing it for the company he's with, right? And he's doing a podcast. And, he said it was just fascinating.
Well, the amazing thing about that is I wasn't allowed to go to radio college because it was a technical college, and my parents wanted me to go to a full-fledged university. They wouldn't even let me go down and pick up the application. Wow. So now, 50 years later, I am starting my radio career.
Yeah, and loving it.
Love it. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Well done. Well, Stephen, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yep, I am ready.
Stephen, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, my son.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you? Okay, you said you have your son. Do you have other children?
Yes, I have 2 children. 2 boys.
Do you believe in God?
A different God than when I was a kid, but yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do now. Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I don't have time.
How about 3 hours a week?
3 hours a week, yes. I watch an episode of Suits every second day.
All right. Well, you are wearing an amazing suit here in your picture. Just had to put that in.
Thank you.
You look great. I like the wood background in your bio picture as well. Really brings class to the picture.
It's a local pub.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks great. Definitely looks great. What about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, it's more. It's more. That's where I live my life.
All right. Stephen, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook thereafter, the name of it being called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self, with the idea that you answer self-discovery questions similar to these that help you connect, hopefully, to your own unique real statement, which is like your mission. If you, Stephen, had to share with us your own unique real statement, statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
I love stories, and I want to tell your story.
Love it. Stephen Hurley, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Just that this personal project that's turned into a community called Voice Ed is not just for teachers, it is for the world, and anyone that wants to come on and do their own work, live stream or a live broadcasts, more than welcome. Reach out to me, Stephen, at voiceed.ca.
Yeah, voiceed.ca. Stephen
That's
Hurley.
not an advertisement, it's just a passion.
Yeah, and it's great when it comes out so naturally. So yeah, you're good. Stephen Hurley, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.